Good morning. Today we're going to be transforming this slab of stone into a wonderful passageway into the mountain. Welcome back to MorningCraft. Good morning and welcome to the most time-specific content on YouTube. We're back in the city of Thaldrim and this has been bothering me for a while. Look at it. It's just a slab of stone and quite frankly it shouldn't have a home here. And so we're going to be addressing that today. And I have a pretty good idea of what I want to do here. We're going to be removing this slab of stone, but not all of it, as we're going to be carving a passageway through the middle. You can see my initial passageway there. And if we enter from the other side of the mountain, we can see where this passageway leads to. We need to put something in the mountain at some point, but for now let's focus on our passageway, which is now a whole lot wider. You can really get a sense of scale of how big this passageway is going to be. Look at that. Ooh, that's pretty big. But now it just looks like a boring slab of stone with a hole in it. So we're going to need a way to make this look good. And at this point in the recording, I was actually watching Daredevil, the new series. Used to watch that ages ago, and they've just brought it back. So yeah, I wasn't really thinking. I was in a flow state. I was watching Matt Murdock do things, and I actually had a bit of a stroke of inspiration. But before I can show you what we've built, let's go to a quick story segment.
After a failed attempt on the dog, Victor Armstrong and Anthony Gello discussed strategy once more. This time, Anthony was adamant that they use his idea. And so, a billboard advertising Thaldrim was placed on the edge of Ladigan. What an odd plan.
And so we're back in the city that now for some reason has a tourism board. And you can see I've added some wonderful pillars and archways to our weird slab of stone. This adds character to our pathway, but if we want this to look the best it can be and really complement the cathedral, we're going to have to add a bunch more. Currently, this boring pathway looks like the kind of infrastructure you'd see in England, and I'm looking for something a little bit more beautiful. Please build like a bullet train in England. Like, just do something cool for once. Like, stop maintaining things from the 80s and just putting new paint on them. Like, can we actually build things again? Getting kind of sick of it now. It's like the only infrastructure projects we have is like, oh, in 2030 we'll have a new train. I'll probably be dead by then. Anyway, look, I put more archways with a bunch of lights, which means I'm making more progress than any of the last British governments for about 100 years. And these lights and pillars really give this an ethereal feel. What was once a closed-off and encompassed town centre with an inspiring cathedral on top of the nearby mountain now feels a whole bunch more open, with these archways stretching deep into the mountain. But we're not done yet. If you really know me, you'll know that there's one thing I'm going to add to any build if I get the opportunity. On Saturday, I actually went and visited St. Paul's Cathedral. Didn't go inside, but I walked around the outside, and honestly seeing it up close made me realise how few details we're able to create in this game. St. Paul's Cathedral has so many beautiful details, and I could only capture a few of them. But if you guessed I was going to use glowberries, then you know me quite well, as they are one of my favourite things in the game. They add a subtle twinkle of light, like fireflies. Sorry, you just hit a log. But they also add a pop of colour, and a natural one too. Vines are pretty cool, but they're quite harsh, whereas glowberries, I think they're the perfect complement for a build like this. And so we now have a pathway into the mountain, which is opening up the bottom area of the city, and it's providing opportunities for us to do more in this area later. But these two buildings, they're in the way now. So let's clean up this entranceway. The fisherman's hut and our apothecary, which breaches the Geneva Convention, they're going to have to go. And so I went ahead and started work on removing them. So, shovel in hand, I started sloping the ground down to meet the water. And in doing so, I built a grand staircase that's pretty reminiscent of the one outside the cathedral. There's nothing better than unlimited iron shovels from an iron farm. It's pretty nice. Really makes things easier when you don't have to worry about basic materials. And here you can see our sloping staircase coming to fruition and a bunch of villagers taking a look. And I'm pretty pleased with what I managed to do with this staircase and waterway, but before I can show you that, it's time to go to a quick story segment. See you in just a moment.
Lord, we must leave. The fleet?
The fleet is lost, sir.
Valkyrians prepared a ship to take us.
So it looks like the armies of Mornington are in trouble, but that's a far cry from the tranquil peace that this new staircase and the cherry trees surrounding it are giving me. This ethereal passageway is not only going to serve as an entrance to greater things within the mountain, but it really opens up the entire valley. There's an odd claustrophobia that you get when you're standing in the middle of the valley, and this really helps alleviate it. But that's all we have time for today. We've built this awesome passageway, and I'm excited to build something at the end of it, and perhaps place something running down the middle. Maybe a market, like Borough Market in London. Our next build is going to be a train station inspired by the one in London. It's very vague, there's like 20 of them. King's Cross station. Is it King's Cross? Yeah, no, St. Pancras. Yeah, it's going to be awesome, but I hope your day is way more awesome than the train station, which is coming on Wednesday. Yeah, have a good one. I hope it's really, really good. See you soon.